everyone, it's Rayvon from Love Lola. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am just so happy to have you here with me. Make sure that you take a moment to look down below in the description box because that's where you're going to find a link to where you can purchase the pattern. I'm going to have links to where I purchase my materials, my vinyls, my zippers, my hardware. If I'm using it, you're going to have a link to where you can find it. Today, we're going to be making Alrighty, let's get started. Okay, so the instructions call for a few items that I have never used before, so I'm pretty excited to, try some new things today. It calls for salpa, which is a sort of interfacing, but it is not, you have to add your own adhesive to it, okay? And this material is really cool. It's actually made out of leather. This is what most people, or a lot of people who do leather work, will use to interface their bags because it's actually made out of leather. It's really neat. Another thing that we're going to be using today is Heat and Bond. I had never used it before today, so I'm really excited about using some new items. Now, I know that salpa and Heat and Bond are not things that a lot of bag makers may just happen to have hanging around in their sewing space. So what I did was, instead of using the Heat and Bond, I just used a regular interfacing. I used Sofus Plus to interface my exterior, and that was it. I also did not cut the slits that are in the salpa. I did not cut the slits because I know some of you guys don't have cutting machines and it might have been a little bit too much work for you. So I went ahead and didn't cut the slits in my interfacing just to see how it worked, and it feels just fine. So don't be discouraged if you don't have those extra items. You can still make it with what you've got, okay? With that being said, let's see. This pattern comes with a lot of extra pieces. For example, you can add this back pocket if you like. There's a template for it. There's also templates for if you would like to add a design along the front. She has two options for that. I really wanted to add those templates to show you how to do it, but it's really easy. But I just couldn't do it because I couldn't find, I'm using this flower print, and I couldn't find a way to get those pieces, those templates added without taking away from the design. So I will not be showing that today, but it's super easy. You can follow it in the instructions if you would like to do so. Okay, so what I did today was I wanted my wallet to be a little bit firmer than what it was originally when I made this one. So what I did was I am going to be using vinyl for my lining, and I also decided to interface these pieces because it just was a little bit too flimsy for me. You can add lining to these pieces if you like. On my first one I didn't, but this was my practice one. On this one I wanted it to be a little bit firmer, so I went ahead and interfaced these pieces with Decaville Light, and then I went back. If you are familiar with HTV vinyl, it's what you use when you're making t-shirts and stuff like that. I went and cut a piece of this and applied it to the underside of these pieces. So instead of getting lining and adding it to it, I just added the heat vinyl, and you add that with heat. And once it's cooled off, you basically just peel off the plastic on the back. There we go. You peel off the plastic, and now that is permanently adhered to the back of this. So I do this sometimes when I don't want to do a lining on something, but I don't want the back of the vinyl to show. Like if I'm doing a little wallet or something, my essential wallet, I do this a lot for. And this is permanent. It's not going to come off. This is what we use on shirts and stuff like that. So now I've got a little bit more stability. So now this feels a little bit better for me for adding snaps to it. And all of the templates have a hole for you to make the placement for where the snap needs to be added. I've already added that placement You can barely see it, but it's there. So that's where we're going to install our snaps. So when you go to cut your exterior fabric, what you need to do is use your template and draw around the template. Don't cut the actual shape of your wallet yet. Draw around the template and get that ready. That's what I've done. That's why I have this piece right here. And then I went ahead and traced on here the outline. And the reason I did that is because of the print. I needed to cut it out in a very specific spot for it to look the way I wanted it to look. Now, if you don't have to do that, then what you can do is trace out your lining in the salpa first. And when you look at your template, you'll notice that one end, the very last rectangle, is slightly smaller than the other side. The side that has the slightly smaller rectangle, that's where the point of your flap should go. Okay, and now you can go ahead and trace this out. And now we need to get these two attached. So first I'm going to be attaching the heat and bond to my vinyl. I am placing the heat and bond in the center. And the instructions say to press against it for about 2 seconds. All right. And now we are going to remove this, the backing, and we're going to lay it onto our salpa. Now, if you're doing it the way that I did it before, once you interface it, you're good to go. Make sure that you trim down your interfacing, because interfacing doesn't take paint well, and the lining is a little bit shorter than the exterior, and so we're going to be doing some edge paint on the inside. So make sure that your interfacing is not in the seams, because the paint won't take to it. Okay, and now I am going to place this. I'm actually going to trim this down because of the fact that this needs to be very specific, so I think I would rather I'm going to trim down just the tips because I want to make sure that I place the salpa exactly where it needs to be placed. Again, if you don't have a design or a print like I do on your fabric, then you don't need to worry about all this, but I need it to line up exactly. All right. Okay, and I'm going to line these two up by the edges to make sure everything is nice and in where it's supposed to be. And now I'm going to go ahead and get these attached, and I'm just applying heat. The instructions say for heat and bond say to apply heat for about 8 seconds. Okay. And since these two are now attached, we can go ahead and cut out our exterior. Now, it is recommended when you cut this out that you use a rotary cutter. Okay, and we're just going to use a rotary cutter for our longer pieces to be cut. And then we can go back and use our scissors for the corners, which I already did. All right, and now you can play around with it to get your folds kind of trained. Okay, now if you are going to be adding one of the templates or you know, any of those templates that go on the exterior, we need to go ahead and do that now before we attach the lining. I'm going to be adding that pocket. So I'm going to get that out. And that pocket is going to be going, you can go ahead and fold your piece up and you'll be able to see where everything goes. So she said that you need to place this pocket about 1/8 inch up from that bottom crease. So about right here, 1/8 of an inch from this crease is where this needs to go. So I'm going to just fold it in the shape that it's going to be. And I can see it goes about right there. So let me grab a little bit of tape really quick. Actually, I need to install my snaps before I add this, but Lola's asleep, so I'm gonna take a break and wait until she wakes up. Okay, when attaching snaps, you're gonna have 4 pieces like this. Two are similar, but one is a little bit shorter than the other. The post part is a little bit shorter. Okay. You have your base, and then you have the other tool that you're going to use. This is my flat part that goes over my little pocket, so I'm going to put the flat piece of hardware in there. And then the piece that has the circle in the middle, the hole in the middle, I'm going to place it on top. Then I'm going to place it on the flat side of this base. One side comes to a point in the middle, the other side is flat. I'm going to place it in the middle of that, and then I'm going to hit it a couple of times with the hammer. I'm going to grab the longer post and put it underneath, coming up, and my shorter post is going to go right on top of that. Now I'm going to place this on the base, the side that has the point in the middle. And I'm going to grab my other tool. It kind of goes in the middle and place that right on top of that little stud that's sticking out and give it a couple of hammers. There we go. All right, once I've got my snaps put in, I went ahead and added double-sided tape on the back side. Now, the instructions say that you need to place this about 1/8 of an inch above this middle piece. So basically at this point you can fold your wallet and see exactly what the shape is going to be like. So cute already, right? So all I did was get that shape, and then I'm going to use my eyes to place it about 1/8 of an inch above the bottom. Okay. There we go. Looks good to me. Now I'm going to sew around these 3 sides. You can leave your thread long and pull it to the back to tie it if you would like. All right, once I've got that on, I am going to snap this. There we go. Let me get the tape backing off. Oh my goodness, that's so cute. Oh my gosh, it's so cute already. All right, let me get this sewn on. And we're sewing right across the top. This one is a little bit longer than the rest. I'm going to trim it down so that it matches. There we go. All right, and I'm just sewing right along the top. Again, I'm leaving my thread long so that I can pull it towards the back and tie it. Okay, now once I have that attached, I want to get my lining attached. So I'm going to find my lining. There we go. And I'm going to attach my heat and bond to it really quick. Now I'm going to go ahead and get my lining attached. So I'm going to pull off the back. And place it on. You'll note that the lining is just a little bit shorter or smaller than the rest of the bag. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, the lining should be slightly smaller than your exterior, but for this one, that was the case on this first one. And that's why she said that you needed to use edge paint to color the inside. You know, because there's just a little bit of the underside of your exterior that shows. Well, for today's wallet, I went ahead and made my lining the same size as my exterior, just so that I wouldn't have to do that part where I have to color the underside of my exterior. I'm having it all in at the same spot, and then I'm going to add edge coat around the entire thing so that it looks like one piece of material. Okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this attached. I can't find my Teflon sheet, so I'm going to be using this paper. I think it'll be just fine. And it says that we need to hold it for about 8 seconds. And right now, all I'm trying to do is get these pieces to stick to each other. It doesn't have to be an exact perfect hold because we're going to be adding that top stitch at the end, right? So now we're going to grab our wallet insert. How cool is this? And you can get this from Ginger over at Lux Hardware. The link will be in the description box below the video. Okay, and what we want to do is get some double-sided tape. Okay, so you want the piece that kind of looks like cardboard board to go on the bottom so that it opens up this way. And then we're going to place it. So basically, the part that opens up, you're going to be placing it on that back side, the double-sided tape along the edge. And we're doing that on all four corners. Okay, so for our placement, we have our first crease, and then our second crease. You want to place this about 1/2 of an inch down from that second crease. Okay. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, placing it about 1/2 an inch down from the edge. I'm going to pin the other side so I won't have heavy hands. I'm going to let it cut off. There we go. Okay, now we are going to go and we're going to sew around the entire wallet at 1/8 of an inch in length. I'm actually going to start my top stitch right where the underside of the bag is so that it won't show on the back or the front. Okay? So the bottom piece, I know that's the bottom of my bag, that's where I'm going to start stitching. Okay, and once I have completed stitching my lining to my exterior, I grab my template E to get the placement for the snap, and I installed it the same way that we installed the last snap. That placement is going to be about 1/7 of an inch up from the edge, okay? Once you get that installed, just fold it over and then take a little peep under where the middle of that snap is and mark that on this end of your wallet. And then you can install the other side of the snap, and then that's it. We're done. How cute is this? Really like it. It's easy project, really fast. But you know what? Look at all those great birds. Wow. So cute. Oh, super cute. Love it. Okay, comment down below if you have any questions or if you just want to comment. You know, I like to read them and respond. So if you decide to make one, please tag me on social media. I would love to see it. Okay, thanks. Bye. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did go and apply some edge paint. I probably did 2 or 3 coats. And I used the Giardini. And this is what I used for my edge paint. And I only used this because I couldn't find my Mojo Sews edge paint. I reorganized my office recently, and I don't know what I did with it. And those are my favorite. The Base Coat Sojomo's edge paint is so good. I love it, but I couldn't find it, so this was fun. All right, y'all, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me for this video today. You can find me on all of the social media platforms. And I'll also go ahead and add all of that stuff in my, I'll add a link to all of that stuff in the video description box as well. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.